Hey friends, it's Lisa with Hand Stamped with Lisa Prado, and I am so excited to be stamping with Julie and friends again this week. So the theme for this week is gratitude gifts to be specific. So I've got a really darling idea for you that would be perfect to gift for all of those end of year things that are coming up. Now, the way that this works is you're going to watch my video, and then linked below, I also have Deb's video and Julie's video, and you're going to watch all three, and the one that you like the best, you're going to give a thumbs up. And one of us will be the grand winner. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe because I've got a lot of really fun things coming for you. So let's get to stamping. Let me turn my camera around here. So what I have for you today is this really darling picnic basket. Isn't that just so cute? Really, really darling picnic basket. And when it opens up, see if I can open it right, you will see that there will be little gifts and goodies that you will be able to put inside there. Now in here I have a little candle, which would be great. I also made a sweet little set of note cards. So these are just 5.5 by 2 3/4 and folded in half and then stamped with this really sweet little greeting from Blooming Phrases stamp set. So I've got that in there. I've got this little candle. Obviously, you can put all sorts of goodies in there. And on the other side, let me see if I can open that up. I also have some tea bags in there. So lots of fun little goodies that you can pop in this sweet little picnic basket. This one is made in, I believe it's Shaded Spruce. And this is the new designer series paper that we have for each of the groups of color. And you can see how cute that is. So darling. So that is the new 6x6 DSP that we have. So I'm going to show you how to make this. So you may have already made a box very similar to this. And what we do is we just make 2 of them and we put them back to back. So really, really easy. So I'm going to show you how to make this box. I will tell you the trickiest thing about it is I'm using a little magnet here, and you are going to have to let that magnet sit, depending on the size of your magnet, really set up really well. I would even pop it with a little bit of hot glue versus a glue dot would be really easy. So I'm going to put the dimensions to this box below as well, but I'll walk you through how I'm going to make that. So you need a piece of cardstock. So with this one, what I use is I use Timid Tiger, and I'm using the Celebratory Sips Designer Series paper. Really beautiful floral here. So 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and we're going to cut it to 7 by 11. So we just need to cut that 1.5 inches off one side of it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to work scoring this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to score this long side. Park that guy. We're going to come in here and we are going to score this at 2. Always that moment of hesitation when I put the blade to it. Did I do it the right way? Am I cutting it or am I going to be good? 2, 5, 7, and 10. 2, 5, 7, and 10. And then we're going to flip it so that it's sitting tall, and we're going to score that at 2 and 5. So we'll give that a score at 2, and then we'll give it another score at 5. All right. If you can do that, you can make this sweet little box. So I do like to go in and just give all of my score lines a nice fold. I don't need to burnish them quite yet, but I just like to know what I'm working with because we are going to cut a little bit of this off in order to make our box. And it just seems to be a little bit easier to cut it if I've done and I've just gone ahead and folded on that so I can see what I'm doing. Now, if you look at this, this end is where I have that little 1-inch flap. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this side and we're going to cut out this side. So we're just going to leave that, and that's going to be the top flap of our box. So because I did a little bit of just strengthening those score lines, it's just a little bit easier to cut. So we're going to go ahead and trim those out so that we have a nice little flip top to our box. I think it's just easy to do with your snips. I don't think it's something that you need to put through. Now, if you are very particular, please feel free to put it back in your cutter and cut it that way. But I think that this works just fine just to use my snips and cut it that way. Now, once we've got that done, we're going to go ahead and cut these flaps so that they fold up really nice. So if you look at this, I've got, this is going to be my top, and now I've got my flaps here. So we're going to go in and cut just those flaps straight through. And before I turn it over and cut the other side, I'm also going to just give these little ones a little bit of an angle. I find that it folds a little bit better and it isn't quite so bulky. So that can really be a help for you as well. leave that guy straight, and then go ahead and cut that other flap again, just at a little angle. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to see that part of the box. It just gives you a little bit cleaner, nicer finish to it. So we're going to go ahead and do this other side as well. Go ahead, cut to the middle, and then we will just take that, and again, cutting that little bit out there so that the box folds nice and tidy. I love making these fun little like treat boxes. I mean, the thing is, like with this one, you could put anything in it, right? Like cash, always acceptable, right? Treats, homemade treats. So there I've got my little box. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to adhere my designer series paper. And so for that designer series paper, I need one square that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I need one rectangle that is 2 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And then I have 3 pieces that all measure 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. So where do these go? Let's start with these two guys because they are going to be the easiest ones. So I'm going to turn my box over and I'm going to start with this small designer series paper, put a little snail on it, and it's going to go right on that flap. And then I'm going to take this square that sits 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and that is going to go on the top of my box. Now, here's the part that you don't want to mess up, and I know because I messed up. So when I put this box together, it's going to sit like this. Okay, so it's going to sit like this when I have it all together. And this back portion, the part that hits here, is the part that I'm going to attach to my other box. Right? So I don't need to put any designer series paper on this particular flap. So when I open it up, I know that I'm not going to put it here. So I'm going to go here and here and here. And I will tell you that, did I double check this 100 times? Yes, I did, because once you make that mistake, you're like, oh, now I got to cut another piece of paper. Now I got to do all the things. You just get frustrated with yourself when sometimes you just go too fast. Anybody else? Hello. Yeah. Sometimes I just go a little too fast, and that is when I find myself having done it completely wrong. So we've got our designer series paper, and that's what your box is going to look like. Now we're just going to assemble it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add adhesive right in here. Now you can use your little runner, or you can use tear tape. Really doesn't make, it's just kind of what you like to do. I find that the tear tape just gives me a little bit extra hold. So I'm going to go with that, and we just need to apply it to here on those flaps that we cut a little bit at an angle. So we're going to go ahead and do all of these. Right like this. And since I've got it here, I'm also going to take this part right here, and I'm going to give myself a nice couple lines of tear tape here, because this is what I'm going to use to put that whole basket together. So it's not just a box, but we're going to create that basket. All right. So we've got our tear tape on there, and now, like, this is the hardest part of the whole deal, is just taking those little pieces of that tear tape off. If you've got a little fingernail, it works really, really well. Otherwise, sometimes you can use your scissors, you can use your poker, all sorts of options depending on what is easiest for you. You know what? There are certain tools I really, really love, and then I like use the heck out of them, but it's kind of like in the kitchen, right? Like, I'm not going to get out a whisk if I can just use a fork to beat the eggs. So I'm a little bit of a minimalist in some of those areas. So we're just going to go ahead, pull all of those tear tape pieces up. Oop, that guy's going to be tricky. There we go. All right, now we're going to put our box together. So we're going to put it up, and you can do it either way. You're just going to start and then pull that up. Make sure that you've got a nice hold there. Pull the other one up and then push those corners in. Do you see how that's coming together? Then we're just going to take these, are going to go in the inside as well. All right. And there we have our box. How easy was that? So easy, right? So we've got this tear tape on the back, and so I'm going to pull that little guy. There's almost, I mean, honestly, in this particular project, there's not much stamping, is there? It's more using our cardstock and that really pretty paper to make it all work. All right, so I've got that tear tape right there, and then I'm going to put my two boxes And I'm just going to go ahead and put them together. You guys, that's the whole project. That's how easy it is to make that little picnic basket. Now, I added some magnets here, like I said, so that it would close and stay closed. So if you're doing that, like I said, you can use a glue dot. You can also use a little bit of hot glue, but you're going to need to let it sit for a little bit before, otherwise when you pop it together, the magnets are going to be so strong, they're going to pull away from that glue dot. And so then we come here as well. Last thing to do is to create that little handle. And so when we cut our cardstock, we cut it to 7 by 11, which means I have a 1.5 piece of cardstock here. And so I'm just going to take that in and I'm going to take it to 1 inch. And I'm going to cut that. And that is going to be our handle. Now, you could get fancy and you could put some designer series paper on that handle that matched. But all you're going to do is take a little bit of tear tape and then just attach it to either side. And that is going to give you that darling little basket. And so like I said, this is what my finished one looks like. It is so sweet. It will hold so many different lovely things. I will put all of these dimensions below for you. But how fun was that? That was so fun, right? You could do all different colors, really fun. I mean, what a great little thing to do for birthday parties, or like I said, end of year teacher gifts would be really sweet. So many darling options. So again, thanks for stopping by and stamping with me. Well, actually just kind of scoring and cutting with me is what we did today. If you loved this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you watch Deb and Julie. Subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can see all of my updates when I share them. And I've also got my newsletter link below, and that is where I share all of the fun things that are private, all the giveaways, all the goodies, all the stamp challenges that we do in our community. So you guys make it a great day. Thanks so much for being here.